Hello friends, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a web services proxy with the WSRR subscription. In my earlier video we have seen how to create a WSRR subscription, and in this video we will build upon that and create a web services proxy out of that WSRR subscription. Before we move on, uh, let's look at what WSRR is. WSRR is an IBM product, and it is WebSphere registry and repository. It is one step ahead of the UDDI, and it is considered as a registry and repository for all SOA artifacts, typically the WSDL. So in WSRR you will find WSDL and its various versions. So WSRR is a product for that. Datapower can integrate with the WSRR, and it can synchronize the WSDL information with its version. Give me a moment. Yeah, I'm sorry. So WSRR holds the WSDL for web service, and Datapower can integrate with that WSRR in order to fetch the correct WSDL and associated policy. Web services proxy is a place where you enforce those policies that are associated with the typical WSDL. The advantage of web services proxy is that it clearly detaches uh, or I can say decouples the producer of the WSDL and the consumer of the WSDL. So consider a scenario in which a WSDL is produced and it is directly consumed. In that case, the consumer is directly dependent upon the endpoint of that WSDL. So far so good, but what if the producer wants to enhance something? So for example, it wants to change the server, it wants to go to a higher capacity server, or better yet, the producer decided that it needs to put a load balancer in front of that server. In that case, endpoint will typically change, so all consumers of that WSDL will get changed. In this case, web service proxy is quite helpful because what consumers will see at their end is the endpoint of the data power, and data power basically encapsulates all other changes that can happen on the actual producer of the web services. So this is called endpoint virtualization, and this is one of the benefits of the web services proxy. Web services proxy is an advanced concept which provides many other features like SLA measurement, and you can put policies, you can put your own customized policy on processing. So web services proxy is an advanced topic, but here we will see some basic functions of a web services proxy, wherein we consume WSDL, which is fetched from WSRR, and we will see how a web service proxy is created and how typically a client can use that web services proxy for that matter. So let's kickstart, and let's go to web services proxy. You should be in the correct domain. You should click on this icon, which is web services proxy, and we should be on the page which asks for the configuration. Yeah, so now we are on the page. Let's click add. You need to first provide a web services proxy name. So we write it like test WSP. It will take a few moments to create it. Please excuse me because the connection seems to be a little bit slow, so the screen is loading in a pretty much long time. It is still creating it. On this second screen, you need to provide the source of the WSDL. So there are a couple of options available. The one is add WSDL from the local directory, which we usually do not prefer, because this requires that you need to upload the WSDL definition to the local file system of the Datapower. The second is add UDDI subscription, so this one can be utilized, and this one is add WSRR subscription. So we're going to use this. We have an existing subscription, so we can click on existing, and here is our subscription. Now once you select it, all other fields get filled automatically. You can verify that your WSRR server is correct and leave other things as default and click on next. It will take some time, because right now what Datapower is doing, it is fetching the correct WSDL from WSRR server. One important point to note is that once you create a WSRR subscription, and once you see that the subscription status says that hey, WSDL is present, the WSRR server may not be up, so that you create a web services proxy. Normally when you create a web services proxy, Datapower tries to fetch the latest WSDL from WSRR, and once it gets the WSDL from the WSRR, if your WSRR down for some reason, then also the web services proxy will work, because it has fetched all the definition component of that WSDL. Yeah, so on this third screen is quite important. Here what we are configuring is, we are configuring a listener, so that our web services proxy can listen on an IP and a port, and it may have other components as well, which is basically a customized components, which includes URI, binding suffix, etc., etc. So we will see how to do that, but first we will create a handler. There is no handler so far, so we will create one HTTP handler for it. So click on this screen, and this is, we are configuring the HTTP handler. Provide a handler name over here, test WSP now. You can fill the local IP address on it, so we fill it like this is the IP address of Ethernet, which must be accessible to you. So we can see that this IP address is available, so we have filled that, and we will fill a port number. So port number is unique. Port number must not conflict across all domains. So here we will fill a port number something like say for example 9090. Let's see what happens. In the HTTP version of client, leave this field as default. In the allowed methods, you must enable the get method, so that you can fetch the WSDL definition of Datapower proxy. Leave other fields as default for the present purpose. Click on apply. The dialog box will go away automatically. Right. Now the option for the URI. So we will customize for the moment the URI portion of it, and we will see how this is reflected in the WSDL. So we will say test service. That's it. Once you are done with that, do not forget to click on add, because unless you click add, it will not the web services proxy, this object will not get generated correctly. Now once we have done this, leave other portion as default. But I will take a moment to explain you what other options are. So this is what we have done for local definition of the web services proxy. So how it works is that data power gets the WSDL definition from WSRR, which is the original definition of WSDL. Now it tries to customize that WSDL and in such a way that when clients fetch the WSDL from a data power URL, the WSDL will encapsulate all the information that is produced by the original WSDL provider. So typically what information are encapsulated is that endpoint and URI portion of it. Apart from that, namespaces are also encapsulated, but namespace for the moment we can leave it from here. Local portion is something which we have configured on the data power, that where it will listen for that service, for this web service, on what URI you need to fetch the WSDL. So if I go ahead and fetch the WSDL, I will do it like this. So for example, HTTP and then right, and port number is 9090. Remember the handler configuration, and then we will provide the URI portion of that, which was test service, and then question mark, and then WSDL. This is the way we will fetch the WSDL for this web services proxy. This may not be present right now because the definition is not yet complete. So once we complete the definition of this web services proxy, we will see that WSDL will be fetched in this manner. So that's how things are done. Use local. So published is something which you will see in the WSDL. So if I am able to fetch the WSDL, which I will be after some time, you will see that in this WSDL, endpoint will be the one which is used in the local handler. URI will be the one which is used in the local handler. So published says use local. So that's something which will be available in the published WSDL of the data power. So let's click on next. It will take a few more moments to complete the definition of the web services proxy. Right, so right now the proxy which we have configured is up, but its handler is not up. Let's see what is the reason for that error. So if we click on the error, right, so all the objects are enabled, but at last one object is not enabled, and that is handler, and it says failed to install on the port. So the port which we have used is somehow being used in another domains as well. So we need to change the port so that port conflict do not occur. And how to do that is to go here, click on this pencil icon, then we need to click this ellipsis, and then I will say 1111. Yeah, that seems to be port which people are not using. So click on apply, and click on apply, and then move ahead, click on apply, it is still building. Yeah, So now we can say that the WSDL status is okay. This means that our web service proxy is ready for use. So as I said earlier, let's try to first fetch the WSDL definition from this WSP, and it is easy to fetch. What you need to do is that you need to know on which IP and which port the handler is installed. What is the protocol of that handler? So it was HTTP, so we put HTTP. We put IP and we put port, and then what you have put as a URI, you put it over here, and then WSDL. And if your HTTP handler has get method enabled, then you should see something like this. Give me a moment, let me put it. Let's see what is here. It is test service, so let's copy it, and I will put it test service like this. Oh, I haven't changed the port number, so it is different. It is 1111, and let's see what happens. We have got our WSDL over here. Now in this WSDL, let's go to the end of the WSDL to see what is the endpoint. As you can see that its endpoint is what you have configured in the Datapower as a local endpoint. So you are in the Datapower and you have configured some local options, and here you have said that Datapower should use the local definition and publish it as part of the WSDL. So Datapower has published that. So here is the endpoint. So that's all for creating the WSP. I think we can go one by one with other options as well that is available with the web services proxy. So SLM policy tab is something where you configure service level monitoring. This is an advanced topic and we will touch base upon it in later videos. Services is something where you can publish the new WSDL, the WSDL of corresponding to this proxy to the UDDI. So remember, WSRR is not a UDDI. You need to have a separate UDDI where you can publish the WSDL definition of the Datapower so that your clients can refer to this WSDL instead of the original one which you have configured in the WSRR. Now there is policy. This policy tab contains the complete structure of the WSDL, and you can put your policy on any part of the WSDL. You can enable and disable any portions of it. For example, if I go ahead and say that inside my WSDL only port operation help desk query list service is allowed and another one is not allowed, I can go ahead and enable and disable components from here. Just click on here and there is option for enabling and disabling the particular operation or particular component. So you can enable and disable that as you wish, as per your requirement. Another is SLA policy details. So this tab shows that service level agreement, what service level agreements you have and what policies you have, that is shown over here. Proxy setting is something which is configured as part of the overall proxy. So if you want that to access the WSDL or to access operations of the WSDL, your clients adhere to overall policy. For example, they must provide some username and password. You configure that kind of setting over here as part of either XML manager or AAA policy. So whichever is best to you. Then advanced proxy settings, which is similar to multi-protocol gateway. So once we go into the multi-protocol gateway, we will see what these are. Header params are something which is used to customize the headers which go to the backend server and which go to the client. WS addressing is for, as the name suggests, it is for web services addressing. WSA standard is there for this, and this tab is basically there for supporting that. WS reliable messaging is for the same purpose. It is for WS reliable messaging so that Datapower can act as a reliable messenger. Monitor is something wherein we configure how many hits come to my service, how many hits, I mean any kind of monitoring that you want to have. And basically there are two monitors, count and duration monitors. We will see in another video what these monitors are and how to configure them. And this is standard XML threat protection where you can configure the threat protection related parameters. So this is all for the web services proxy. Thanks for watching. This is Ajitav.